There's a thin line between confidence and cockiness. The one who's confident knows it, the cocky one doesn't. Everybody that wants to be the best has to feel like they are that. Sire grew up without having much, if anything material, but he had family, and sometimes that's the best asset to have around. Growing up in a household with 10 kids in it had to be full of moments that helped form the sharp blade in the mind of young Sire, who showed he was a prodigy young. Determined to be the best, he willed himself on the national TV, on to season 5 of Lifetime's popular show, The Rap Game, showcasing a level of talent for rapping that isn't often seen from a young kid, and in some cases isn't even seen by adults. With all the skill that was displayed, Sire seemed to be destined to be among the next great rappers. So where is he now, and what is he up to? Well, like always, we'll dive into it to see what's happened to Sire after the Rap Game camera stopped filming. Yo, like always, I'd like to take a second to thank you, the viewer, for watching. My bad for the wait, but I had to recover after a car accident, so due to doctor's orders, I had to take a little bit of time off. But we back, so without further ado though, since I made you wait long enough, let's go ahead and blast back into this. Born up in Saginaw, Michigan, J. Lee Horsey, aka Sire, grew up surrounded by love, regardless of the other circumstances, and seemed to be very close and tight-knit with his parents and siblings. His mother, who was his manager on the show, Brandy, and his father, Tyron Horsey. His mom did it all, and she gave a ton of love and support to the kids as they were growing up, and his dad did the same, while also helping give inspiration to start making music by breaking down the origins and history of hip-hop. And Sire at that time was like a sponge who soaked it all up, wanting to participate in it as soon as he could. His pops was a true hip-hop head and also a producer in his own right who went by the name of Scheme. Some of his work can still be found online today, so when Scheme introduced rap to Sire, he had to make sure he knew the backstory first, understand fully what rap was about, so Sire would fully be able to embrace being an MC. Sire would later say he got into rapping around age 3 to 5, and when he started, he was rapping under the name J Dash, which was a nod to his birth name. He rapped alongside some of his siblings, something that's still a big part of him till this day.
Day one, not one day. Man of many talents, mic, silver screen, and runway. Super dope with the wordplay. 6 flags on my birthday. Yeah, that's a fun day. One day.
They showed a lot of promise young, trying to further their talents together, sort of like a young Rap Jacksons or something. But even among all these young talents, Sire would show he had the ability to push even harder, and he did. And this is something that's understandable, seeing as growing up without much can often be the spark that ignites some's engines to become famous. Sire would later say he didn't even know what Christmas was like growing up, and they even got a ton of their clothes from helping the community in the form of things like clothing closets. The struggle could easily crumble away to fortitude of the weak, but Sire used it to solidify his foundation and built off of it, improving his skills as an MC. His siblings improved as well, which had to feel great for their parents watching him blossom, which eventually started opening up doors for Sire as he grew his craft, doing early shows at places like the Salvation Army and putting out music, even a mixtape. Sire and his pops will later say that he rapped over 150 freestyles in those early days, putting in the work to be great, even going overseas to Jamaica to perform in front of some legends like Usain Bolt and Michael Jordan, even allowing him to get a chance to assist with the former First Lady Michelle Obama's Drink Up campaign, which allowed him to be around the likes of the Queen Bee herself, Beyonce, and other stars like Ariana Grande, Dr. Oz, or One Direction. To me, there always seemed to be a little bit of a Tupac influence in Sire from young. Being perceptive allowed him to soak up and understand his surroundings, allowing him to form his own opinions on serious topics, spurring Sire to use his voice more as his platform grew. And in those days, he would try everything, even acting and modeling, skits. He was full in to trying different ways to make it. In the hunt for more opportunities, Sire and his family decided to leave Michigan and packed everything up in a trailer and moved to the ATL. Sire had seen season 1 of the Rap Game, and he knew he had to be on it, feeling like it was almost his calling. So he searched for JD, tagged the producers in his freestyles, and rallied his fans to support as well. And this was sort of work for Sire when he got contacted and interviewed to be on season 2 of the show, but due to a couple factors behind the scenes that we'll get into a little bit later, he wouldn't be on the next season or even the next 2 after, which was odd because he obviously was talented enough to be on the show. Also, there was producers on the show that wanted him to be on it as well, so he ended up building relationships with a couple of them. He also appeared multiple times in the show in the crowd before his season, so it was obvious he was in a Rap Game circle very early off. Being in ATL, well. He even crossed paths with many of the cast, like Lotto, King Roscoe, and others. Respect mutually with most, and beef with others, which is something I wish I could dive a little deeper into, but since it isn't too public, I'ma leave it at that. Anyway, he did finally land on the final season of the Rap Game, and from the very beginning, he showcased he was there to try and win it all. The cast that season was Tyler Rain, Naik Hassan, Eli Triplet, Queen Amaya, and Lil Richie, who only appeared in the first episode. And if you wanted to catch up on any of the castmates from any of the seasons, go ahead and hit the Rap Game playlist. You'll find a video on them. For what seems like birth, Sire had already been battling, writing, and competing, so the challenges on the show seem to be right up his alley. But even with that experience, season 5 wouldn't be a walk in the park, and it was also full of drama, some of which surrounded Sire. Between the battles, beef, and hospital trips, the season was full of ups and downs. But on the show about rap, some of Sire's best moments came on verses that left people on the show in awe, and Sire and his team knew it. To some of the fans, it came off as cocky, but when you know you're good, it's hard not to be proud of your talent. JD and his team also could see the talent. Unfortunately for Sire, one member of JD's team really didn't like him, and in my opinion, it sometimes even showed on camera.
Sire, extra. No matter what Sire does, he always gotta put some extra on it. It's not even necessary. Live with the young Prince, Sire, you dig? Young Prince of hip hop.
Y'all heard how she tried me? hey, I'm gonna have to say her.
You ain't no king yet. You gotta earn that, boy.
I got you.
You're a prince right now.
It's love, baby.
The brat even allegedly was one of the people behind the scenes that was involved in the politics that kept Sire off previous seasons of the show, a situation that Sire responded to after the show in his infamous diss track called Blame Jermaine. This is a side note, but if you haven't heard the track, you should definitely look it up, where he aired out his outlook on his time on TV using words that would get this video demonetized. So here's just a little clip.
That's why he inside me. Finally, the answer is appeared. He knew I was above my peers, but he had to start in his ear.
But that wouldn't be the only beef from the season though, when Brandy got into a back and forth with Eli's dad, causing Sire to step up and defend her, which forced the producers to have to step in and calm the tensions, which seemed to work because Eli and Sire eventually seemed to be cool after the show. Beef wasn't his only storyline, there was also a little love sprinkled in with it, with his relationship with fellow castmate Naya being on full display. Now this turned into its own thing that continued till after the show. So let's just say that they were young kids who had a relationship that didn't work out, and I'll leave it there out of respect to their privacy. This season was the last in the series, so the show for sure went out with a bang. But Sire felt like he was inside of a fishbowl with the cameras constantly around, and after losing to the eventual winner, Tyler, fans seemed to be split, some understanding JD's reasoning, while others felt Sire was the best to come through the Rap Game house. He took his time on the show and the exposure and went back to his roots with being a lifetime fan of music, inspired by so many different things, like not just rap, but other genres like country and rock, which was also a throwback to some of his younger years when he played drums, pianos, or guitars. Sire even dabbled in making beats, but using his voice and his words seemed to be his true power, and he continued rapping anywhere, anytime he could, becoming the youngest to participate in the UBL, and even participating in 16 bars of real hip-hop, where he showcased his skill on some real big online platforms. He would make his biggest song to this point, King James, a song that was even featured on Intuitive Entertainment's YouTube page, and even did pretty good numbers for a new rapper. But for Sire, rap also seemed to be a conduit into which he could channel what was a part of another calling for him, inspiring the youth. He would do freestyles that, if you listen carefully, told deep stories and showed the next level ability for understanding words and how to use them. Sometimes he even spit a cappella without a beat to distract you from the bars. But in my opinion, this may have been part of a bigger issue. Rap is about lyrics, but increasingly became more about beats and catchy hooks over the years. Some of the most talked about rappers nowadays aren't the people that rap the best anymore, but more personalities. But that's only part of the issue with the industry, whose shady practices also caused Sire to not be able to release more music that had already been recorded, due to allegedly being held up by paperwork, slowing down his traction that he gained from being on national TV, causing Sire to have to fight to recover his music.
Everybody cared about. Don't get me wrong, I love the Christmas legends. I love singing fans. I want the fast cars. I want the big house. I want the women. I want the money. I want all that. But That was never what I got in it for, and I would leave today and never have a regret, man. I got in this for the platform. I did the TV show for the platform. I don't care about nothing else. I don't care about no accolades, like no acclamation, no anything like that, bro. At the end of the day, my overall goal, the one thing that I want to make sure I do, remembered for when I'm gone, man. Like I told you, I impact everything. Is just making a difference, bro. I did everything that I've done so far in my life, in my career, to develop a platform, to be able to speak out against things that go on in the community, to be able to give back to my community. True, I want to be able to enjoy the material things, but at the end of the day, it's material things. I'm not a materialistic person. I don't place my value in material objects, you know what I'm saying? Those things are here today, gone tomorrow, dust to dust, ashes to ashes.
But with all the family around him and the mindset to give back being ingrained in him since his youth, his family started a business, a senior living facility that they use to not only provide a better lifestyle for their family, but to also be able to give back, caring for the elderly people that might not have families that can do it, assisting the elderly and inspiring the youth. Sire seems to be headed in a new direction of servicing others and not focusing on just himself, showing compassion that the rap game cameras didn't show, but something that seemed to be felt by his peers, who for the most part all seem to have respect for Sire as a person and artist. And the artistry is still there too, with Sire starting to put out verses again recently online and more music on the horizon. There's a thin line between confidence and cockiness, and it's humility. The confident one knows it and the cocky one doesn't. Belief in one's abilities can be loud or quiet, but it has to be there in order to achieve greatness. So it'll be interesting to see where this story continues to go from here.
Everybody likes to spit the shit they write after me. I complete the cipher like Nike's underneath. Step to the mic, you get 8. I'm Tyson, you see. Iconic with the lines like Mike from The Free. Been a while since I've marveled at a rival. I'm seeing for you riders, damn beast. Guess I might be Stan Lee. That same man spit venom. Touch the mic and family. I be blacking out like Peter up in Spider-Man 3. I'm likely to be the GOAT like I'm elite. Moonwalking in my Billie jeans. I'm light on my feet, man. With 500 fiends living life on these streets. You couldn't smoke all the dope I supply with these V's.
Appreciate y'all for sticking to the end of this video. You definitely a real one. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section about Sire's story. I have to admit, I try not to be biased, but out of all the castmates that I've had the pleasure of speaking with, my convo with Sire was just different. Bro had me talking for like 6 hours, and most of it was just about life. It reminded me of talking to a longtime friend or something. So I wanted to make sure I took my time and did my best with this one. But due to a recent car accident, it took a little longer than expected to get it out to y'all. Anyway, it's your boy Stone Astro, but we out of here, man. So go ahead and drop that outro.